Hello, class. My name is Jasmine Joseph. I'm a senior legal communications major, and I'm here making this video about STLC, which stands for Stop, Think, Listen, and Communicate. It's a process that we can use to deal with conflicts. And after watching the video that Dr. Langmia made and reading the chapter, I think that it's really beneficial. It's something that I think I would benefit from implementing in my life when dealing with conflicts, and I would advise other people to do the same in order to, just become better at conflict management and, expressing ourselves in conflicts in a way that will help to actually make the conflict work out on both ends for both people. So basically, the first step in STLC is stop. And when we stop, we really just give ourselves a chance to step outside of the situation and not react off of emotion, but just, kind of check ourselves and, say, okay, like what's going on right now? Like, just, step outside and don't react so quickly. I think that that's a good thing to try to do when you're dealing with the conflict, because sometimes we can do things we regret if we just act so rash and don't really consider the situation before we react to it. So stop, I think, is a really important thing to do. The next step is think. And thinking, of course, is always important. We always want to think before we do something. Um, this step really is, it allows us to kind of weigh our options and see what is the best route to take in this situation. How should I proceed? What is my next move? Um, and I think it's a good thing to do as well, because you're really making sure that the way you're about to react to this situation is something that's going to make it better instead of making it worse, potentially. Um, the next step, listen, is something that's even more important, because I think it's a skill that most people need to improve on. A lot of people, or a lot of times when we're dealing with conflict, we listen to a person to respond or to have something to say back. But we don't necessarily always try to understand what the person is really trying to say, or trying to look at it from their side. And that's a valuable thing to do, because sometimes we may do something or say something to someone that they take differently from how we intended for them to take it. And it can affect the way that they treat us, or if someone is going through something in their life that you didn't know about, it could affect the way that they were acting towards you. Or it's always good to know both sides of a story, because it gives you more information, or all the information you need to make an informed decision about how to proceed and how to deal with the conflict. The last step would be communicate, and I think we all know that communication is important. We're communication scholars, and that's what we study, so of course we know it's important. But what really struck me in this process was that communication is the last thing that you do here. So even though we know that communication is really at the forefront of most things that we do, here is last. So it's after we stop, after we, think, after we listen to what the other person has to say, we then, kind of respond, and now we communicate what our feelings or what our expectations are for how to move forward with the situation. And it really stuck out to me that it's in that order, because I think that it makes our communication more effective when we put more effort into it. When we think about what we're about to say before we say it, and we listen to the other side, and we make sure that we know what we're talking about. We make sure we know what that person, what that other person who's involved is thinking, and we then put all that together and then communicate. It makes the other person also take us more seriously, because the other person knows that, okay, this person is calm. They've had a little while to cool down to think about the situation. So they're taking what you're saying, not out of emotion, but they're taking it really more seriously, and you're more credible when you put more effort into your communication. So that really stuck out to me, and I think that this process is something I could have benefited from had I known about it earlier. And it's definitely something I want to try to implement going forward in my life. And I would advise, or, say that other people should do the same, because I think we could all benefit from implementing stop, think, listen, and communicate when dealing with conflicts with other people. And I'm happy that I was able to learn this information so that I can try to, do that. So thank you for watching my video, and yeah, that's all.